What? Men are approaching post-wall women? No.
The beauty standard or both that have changed in the past like 10 years or so. But I swear to God, I'm like, I don't know if it's because I don't get like lip filler and stuff like that. No shade if you do, like nothing against it. I work at a Botox company. But I do feel like men have come to expect almost like subtle work done. Like they don't realize it, I don't think, but that's kind of become the standard, and I feel like I'm feeling the backlash of that. Um Either that or also just my looks are
Nope. You're just comparing yourself to other women and you feel like you're lacking because they all got something done and you projecting that onto men just because that's what women love to do, project all their insecurities onto us.
like out of vogue, I don't know. But just want to see if anyone else is having that experience. Or maybe the men are just like never gonna approach women again. I don't know.
Okay, some girl's video popped up on my page today, and she was saying that she thinks the beauty standards have changed because 10 years ago she was getting approached a lot, and now she doesn't get approached anymore.
Isn't that she's older, 10 years older, she's in her 30s now? No, beauty standards change. It's not, nothing has to do with me.
And she was attributing that to like she doesn't get like Botox and lip filler and everything, and so she thinks maybe that's like why she's not getting approached. And so I commented and I was like, unfortunately, I think the issue is that we've gotten older. And I said, me too. I said, I started noticing, like men not approaching me or like looking at me as much, like after I turned maybe like 32. And when I looked at this woman, I was like, she's got to be around the same age as me. I don't know. I was thinking maybe like 35, maybe a little younger than me. I'm 37. And she comments back like right away and she says, these comments are diabolical.
You have to know that getting older is a blessing.
It
Number
is.
one. All right.
It actually is.
Aging, getting older is one of the greatest accomplishments and feats, especially if you're from certain environments, if you're from certain cultures. A lot of people don't make it, even if they not in those environments, from cancer or terminal diseases or whatever. So
Car accidents just taking people left and right.
people not embracing themselves getting older is wild to me, because why are you expecting the same thing that you were expecting when you were 25, 24, 27 even, right? And when I see women, I think that women are crashing out more than ever before, even though we have surgeries, even though you have different things that you can do. Instead of them embracing where they're at and understanding that it's going to be a different experience as you age, and that the same type of guys or the same type of motion that you may have had may be different type of motion, or it may be something completely different than what you were expecting as you get older, because they're not going to treat you like you're 25 when you're 35. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
They're not going to look at you in the same way, or the same type of guys that are, and I'm gonna have a holistic conversation. This isn't a man versus woman thing. I'm very much off that. I'm just really on some realistic, let's have some real conversations to better understand what is happening out here in the streets, what's happening in the culture, and how people should be moving. You understand? One of the reasons why people, women in particular, look to get married earlier is sometimes so that they can start their family earlier and they can live the rest of their life, but so that they don't find themselves by themselves and looking over men that they should have been with and living with regret. So you're not going to get the same type of motion. I even see women that say, that's in their 30s and 40s, and they say, yeah, man, I don't know how to get the guys that's around my age to rock with me, but the young dudes really like me. No, the young guys really want to bust you down. They'll put it in anything. Most men will do anything, but that doesn't necessarily...
They'll put it in a pencil sharpener. Hopefully it's turned off, but they'll still put it in there.
Translate into a long-term relationship, true companionship, and or marriage, if that's what you're looking for. So if the woman is saying, yo, I think that beauty standards are changing, or maybe men are just getting subtle work done, no. Men are usually judged by the motion that they have. Motion also including the money that they earn, the impact that they have, their reputation, whether or not they got clout, and there's so many other factors that go into it. But men generally have a better runway longer term, whereas women have a much more effective runway earlier in their life. Men don't even get the same exact type of motion as far as what their expectations are.
Men don't get a runway. We get a piece of land that we have to create our own runway first, and then we can go out there and fly.
When they get older, right, they may have more motion. They may get a different demographic of type of woman that approaches them. Women start to approach women
Yes.
or women start to approach men as they get older. Whereas a woman, depending on where she at, and obviously this is not applicable to every woman or every man because everybody is different and they live in different spaces and they have different experiences and different socioeconomic statuses. But it's a lot of people and a lot of women in particular that are in denial. They're truly in denial of where they stand in the minds of the people that they're looking to attract. It has nothing to do with just beauty standards. It has nothing to do with men getting subtle work done. None of that. This is an individual race. And if you're comparing yourself and still thinking about you getting approached like you were 10 years ago, the first question that I'm going to ask is, well, what did you do to give you a better result? Or how come you didn't accept a hand in marriage, or you're not in a long-term relationship based off of something that was afforded to you 10 years ago? If all of these guys was approaching you, if all of these guys was rocking with you, then why are you still single? And why are you still looking for the same thing?
It's I think I could do better, Anton. It's the mall of husbands thing, you know? Every floor you get a better husband until you don't get one.
That you were looking for when you were 20 or 25.
Like, as if I've like greatly insulted her. And so I commented back like a couple like question marks, like, what? Like, this was not an attack on you. I'm trying to understand like what exactly she thinks is diabolical here. And somebody else like comes to my defense and was like, this wasn't a swipe at you. She's just saying, you know, there is a change. Like when we get older, like men are going to be kind of less attracted to us. And she was like, yeah, after I reread it, I understood that, but I wish I had.
And it's not even just that men are less attracted. I think that men are more secure in who they are. They have less time to focus on something that's not adding value into their life. They're more likely to just roll out with people that actually add value into their life. And
Hey, fuck with people that fuck with you. What do I always say?
they're less likely to approach because our cultural norms have taught men that, hey, you look like a creep if she not necessarily trying to get to know you, or she's not throwing signals, or maybe she throwing signals and you just don't feel like being bothered. Or maybe guys are spending more time focused on their career and in the house and in the gyms and all of that other stuff that don't necessarily translate to women in their minds that this is the environment that y'all created.
Said that the, you know, change was like over 10 years because now everyone just keeps telling me I'm old. And I said, but the 10 years is the differentiator. That's like the whole point of this. Yeah. Like you have to say that it's the 10-year difference. And I said, I did not say you look old. I said you're older. And I don't think that she looks like old, but you can tell that she's not like in her early 20s. And so anyways, it just really annoyed me. And now I just like keep getting notified of like other people responding to her. And anytime someone says something that's like disagreeing with me, she likes the comments. And somebody said, the whole thing of men liking younger women is a myth. And she liked that. And I'm like,
they just lie to each other and lie to themselves.
Can we stop?
Geez.
Can we stop just like lying to ourselves? Like, this is what I hate. Women that have an inability to manage truth and just honest discussion. Anything that like hurts my feelings, it's just too much. Like, you're older. First of all, your pool is shrinking. And number two, you're not the hottest priority going on. It's always going to be the early 20-somethings. That's just how it is. Like, Like, just accept that. It doesn't mean like, oh, you're less valuable or anything like that. It just means you are not going to be receiving the male gaze at the same level you were.
Just something about being 37 years old that makes you lose your mind. I don't want to call it a midlife crisis. I like to call it a midlife awakening. There's just something about that age that makes women wake up. It's like all of a sudden, all the programming that we had been handed no longer makes sense to us. We finally are able
Yeah, logic actually kicks in because your biology said you're dumb.
to open our eyes, look around, just think to ourselves, this can't be it. There has got to be something more than this. It's this big age when we start to finally think for ourselves. This is when people get divorced, or you make a big career change, or you make a big move. It's a make or break point of whether or not you want to have kids. There's just something about the age of 37 that makes you want to take control of your life. It's kind of magical and also
Well, I think that at the age of 37 and somewhere around there, that's around the time that women start having a reality check that life is just not going to be on easy mode anymore.
Nope.
They are somewhat having a midlife crisis. It's difficult for them to be able to fathom that this is what their life.
Just to touch on what Anton said, life got so much more difficult for them, and they are experiencing it firsthand and immediately, and they don't fully understand why it's so much harder for them.
Is they have to deal with they're starting to deal with some of the bad decisions that they've had to make in their life. And so they try to rebrand it and make it seem like you're having some kind of awakening. No. It gets more of whatever it is that you already are, unless you make an even more drastic decision that's going to make things difficult. And you can't rebrand bad decisions into somehow it's the tipping point for you then having this awakening. Nah, that's not what happens.
pretty scary at the same time. I know for me, 37 was the age that I totally changed my life. And I didn't do it immediately overnight, but it was the age that everything just hit me. And I just realized that I had to make some major changes. I told my husband I wanted a divorce. We got separated. I moved to a brand new city and fully started my life over. And thank God that I did. So I don't know what it is about turning 37, but that's just when women step into their power.
Let me know what you guys think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon.
You hear that? Women stepping into their power, they're going to divorce and leave their families and husbands because that's so powerful. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and catch you guys next time. Ciao.